It's official, gentlemen. We are live. I want to say, so first of all, Steve, welcome to Boston and Bubbles. We are so thrilled to have you, especially because I'm going to venture to say that this is the first time in the dental podcast history that there's been a live ability to call in. I'm
As far as I know.
I'm going to be bold and say that. So
You are
we're
very
thrilled.
bold, Miss Bubbles, B&B. And I agree. I'm not aware of any podcast that do it live. Not only that, but we are not editing this. No mistakes, or maybe if we make mistakes, you know what? That's okay because we're representing who we are, and that's human beings. We make mistakes all the
Absolutely.
time, correct?
That's absolutely true.
So,
Yes.
yes, we have Steve Craig here. For those of you that don't know Steve Craig, you're darn well better know him. Because Steve Craig, I say, is like the welcoming committee of the dental field. Sarah, your thoughts on that? Agree?
That
Disagree?
that is such a good but also so welcoming committee, but also like wise sage, nice wise sage. I feel like when I introduce people, I just went to Dykema last week and my boyfriend came and I was introducing him to everybody. I was like, this person is a gem, this person is a gem. But like Steve is the OG gem.
Steve is, so like I said in a post, he is the salt of the earth. I mean, Steve is everywhere all the time. Um, One of the things that is so remarkable about Steve is that when people do posts on LinkedIn, he is always like the first person to congratulate them or to pick them up if they need to be picked up. And sometimes I'm like, geez, it's like, how did Steve beat me to this post? I'm going to have to start doing like a new hashtag. If I get on a post first before Steve and responding, I beat Steve because not many people do. And honestly, no, Steve, coming into this space, at least for me, you were one of the first people I met. You were so open, so welcoming, wanted to get to know me on a personal level. And, I think when Sarah and I discussed about having our first guest, we were like, let's have someone who is so down to earth, like Steve Craig, be on our show because he's so well respected in this community. Everybody knows your name. And you do a great job for your business, Solmedics, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But I would like to know, Steve, first off, you do all these quotes all the time on LinkedIn, and I read them all the time, and they obviously make you feel better. What's your passion with that? Where did that come from? Um, I'd like to hear a little bit more about that.
Well, obviously, coming from kind of the sales leadership background, sales is a lonely job. You're out there a lot of times by yourself, and it's all about the community you build around you. You hear no a lot, and anything you can do to uplift other people. And I'm a big believer in kind of growth mindset, and we're all in this together. We don't really have competitors. I love the dental industry, been in it for over 20 years, and I think the more we can help and support each other. Probably one area where I really learned about it was I listen to. I'm a big podcast junkie, read a lot, so that's where I gather a lot of that information, those quotes from. But I remember listening to a talk one time, and it was you and I and Sarah's generation, McDonald's was the king when we were growing up. And they interviewed the guy who was the head real estate guy for Burger King. And they asked him, like, how did you compete with those guys all these years? And I think he had since retired, is kind of how the story went. And he kind of just laughed and said, we didn't really do anything. And they're like, what do you mean you didn't do anything? He's like, we just waited for McDonald's to buy a location and we got as close as we could. We figured they're going to get them in the morning. We're going to get them at night. We might get them next time for breakfast. They're going to come and go both ways. And it kind of reminds you of, we really don't have competitors. We're really all here to help each other and really try to do that. And, another podcast I listened to said at the end of the day, we're all just walking each other home. And we're all in this together and we're not going to get out alive. So why not make the best of it? So that's why I try to pick people up, inspire them, and keep people going.
Well,
Because
I think you're pretty successful in that mission, Steve. Because again, coming into this right away for me, I recognize that right away. And people do go to you for your leadership, and you're just such a good guy, salt of the earth, as I like to say. Steve, so how about on your end? Any favorite quotes for
Well,
you?
probably one of my favorite ones is you're the average of the five people you hang around. And I think a lot of it also is you can be brought down to the common denominator. So where the lowest of those five is probably where you're going to rest. But somehow you kind of settle in that average of the five. So you want to surround yourself with great people that are growth mindset, live under abundance and don't really want to handle scarcity. And I think, Nick Saban's pretty famous for always saying, mediocre people don't want to hang around successful people and successful people don't want to hang around mediocre people. So kind of figure out who that five is and hang
Mm,
around those individuals. And they probably have a five very similar to you. Before you know it, you have a pretty good community. Kind of like when we go to a lot of these shows, the community we hang out with is those average of the five.
great point. Sarah, do you
I
have
love.
any quotes that resonate with you?
Oh my gosh. My favorite quote is I believe that the quality of our lives is determined by the quality of our relationships. And that's one of my favorite quotes. People, oh my gosh, I've got so many. People buy people, not products or services. And I, for my quote, but also like personal mantra, I believe that I will by heightening others. I will. Oh my gosh, it's like one of my favorite quotes, and now I can't remember it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I will heighten my life by helping others heighten theirs. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
Very
it's awesome.
nice.
And you do a
Very
good
nice.
job of that.
Very nice.
Thanks.
You sure
What
do.
about what about you, Mark? What's your favorite
Oh,
quote?
jeez. I have a couple that I've really liked over the years. One is you don't always have to have the lead if you have the heart to come from behind. That's one of my favorites. And then in dental school, and I think I had posted this once before, one of my instructors said to me, and I just always held on to it, get good before you get fast, because if you get fast before you get good, you'll never be good. So slow down a bit, get good at what you're doing, and then things move forward. Don't rush it. Get good at it first.
Everybody in our industry should listen to that quote,
It is
especially.
such a great quote. And I'm the type of person that really doesn't, they don't sit with me, those quotes. I don't remember them. But those two, for whatever reason, I remembered. But yeah, two great quotes.
Well, it's interesting too in the kind of state of the industry because everyone's talking about same store growth right now, but then at the same time, everyone's like, but we have to grow, 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 grow. And it's like, so I really love that. Like, get good. Like,
Great analogy, Sarah.
make sure
Perfect.
that you have the things in place. Look at me being all smart and
Look
stuff,
at
you
you.
Oh,
guys.
smart.
Look at me.
Can we take a drink to that? A cheers to that?
Oh my
You,
gosh, I
Here's to that.
forgot.
oh,
Wait a
you have a
minute.
what?
I know, Trevor,
You have to take a
boyfriend.
serious time out on the not so serious Boston and Bubble show.
I'm asking my boyfriend to get me some
Oh my
champagne right
gosh.
now.
Hurry up, BF. Hurry
Can
up.
you get me a glass of champagne?
This is
Wow.
real life. This is real
Only
life. No editing. It's
But I
just the way
think
it
those
happens.
quotes you talked about, Mark, I think they really hit home, like you said, with the dental industry. Because, you being a dentist, I'm not, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But, you know, you're kind of taught. I think Howard Franz said it best one time when he kind of said, you're taught in dental school, you start off in high school, you got to get the best grades to get in the right college. You got to get the best grades in college to get to the right dental school. You got to get the best grades in dental school to get in the right residency and specialty. So you're kind of taught to look at everybody around you as your competition. And
Mm,
in other sales professions, you see that too. That's the one thing I love about the dentistry industry is we don't really look at that. We kind of look at other people, kind of like the whole McDonald's Burger King thing. Is there's enough people out there for every dentist to have happy patients. There's a different dental home for everybody. There's a different dental home for every patient. And right now it's 50-60% of patients only go to the dentist. We would all just focus on that of how to get more people involved in getting into dentistry as a patient. Everyone would thrive and survive off that. It's just being that positive mindset versus kind of looking at the negativity. Did you get an empty glass? Wow.
Oh
Nice.
wait. Do you want to come into view? This is what my boyfriend is.
oh my gosh.
Where's this tuxedo on top
I
hat?
need a boyfriend like that.
Thank you. How funny. My brain is like everywhere right now because I'm going to see, I know you know this, Mark and Steve, I didn't tell you this. I'm going to see New Kids on the Block
Oh, look
today.
at you.
but not only do I get to go see them, we did this like VIP experience. So it's like 2:15 right now. And they're like, be here at 3. And I'm like, what? 3 o'clock? It doesn't start until 8. So my brain has been, what do I say to New Kids on the Block when I meet them? So that's why I didn't have champagne ready.
So
Sorry.
is this
Hey,
by the pool? Is this poolside?
No, it's at
Oh,
the,
okay.
oh,
And
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I ask that because they've been advertising here in Massachusetts, and there's some VIP tickets that you can win where you go poolside with New Kids and you hang out with them and you talk to them. But I guess your venue's a little bit different
Well,
down in
plus
Florida.
well, it's probably different for you too, because you're in you're their home state. You're their
Home
Mecca.
state. Yes, Mecca.
well, if you drink enough champagne, maybe they'll get up on stage. I like to see that.
No, we wouldn't, Steve.
Yes, we
No,
would.
we
Mark and I
wouldn't.
would. You may not.
Sure would. In fact, Miss Bubbles, can we see the outfit in its entirety right now? Because it looks like you've got the 80s going.
I know, and it's a lot of people from Dykema will probably be like, "Ew, she wore that last week," but I did because it's '80s theme. So
Look at
Very
you.
nice. Woo! All right.
You have to get up on stage.
Oh, oh, oh. The right
the right
stuff.
stuff.
Well, let's drink to that. That you have a blast tonight at New Kids.
Yeah,
Drink to that. Toast to New Kids and
Toast.
Bubbles.
absolutely. That'll be awesome.
So, Steve, let's let's listen. Solmedics. Let's hear a little bit about Solmedics. How long you've been with them? I know for sure in my practices we use your products. But let's give a little shout to your business and yeah, let's hear your little pitch here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're kind of the only manufacturer that handles a full comprehensive lineup of end-to-end water solutions. So Solmedics is primarily amalgam collection vacuum line cleaners. Stericyl is another company we since have purchased, brought into the fold, which is water testing and water maintenance. And then Dry Shield is isolation dentistry. I know even on Greg Oshmacher's program, I mean, that's been one of the top ones when people say, what's the product you wish you invented? It's isolation dentistry. So it's great to hear that
It's
from his group. And then we also did purchase another organization called Implement, which is in the soccer preservation space. So the oxygen plug to
nice.
really help out with that. And then the same PE group that owns us also owns Spear Education. So that's kind of the
Okay.
five kind of companies underneath our one umbrella.
Yep.
Sole focus is really building out the DSO space for Solmedics, Stericyl, Dry Shield, and Implement.
Awesome. It's funny how you say that because one of my questions I wanted to ask you was who the heck invented the dry shield? Because it's like, why didn't I think of that? Right?
Yeah. It was a
Such a
pediatric
great
dentist in
invention,
California. Yeah, so a pediatric dentist in California invented that. And
man.
obviously during COVID, it was all about aerosol reduction.
Oh gosh,
Now it's
yes.
turned into staffing shortages. They don't really teach a lot of dental assistants forehand in dentistry anymore. But if you have an isolation product, you're not worrying about the patient keeping their mouth open, the bite block, all that, and obviously the dreaded suction, which almost every dentist and doctor tells you to close your lips on a suction, which you should never do. But they all tell you to do that. That product has really taken off due to staffing shortages because now he or she, doctor, a hygienist, can really increase their speed. But more importantly, for the dental assistants, it's not there to replace them. And now they don't have to worry about the suction anymore. And now they can really do forehand dentistry and really help out the clinician he or she they're working with.
It is so interesting how the pandemic has forced us to evolve in figuring out other ways, other devices, other resources to use to make up for this workforce shortage. It's almost like, it was a necessity for us to grow, and to look at other options that we can have, and certainly AI as well,
Yep.
in dentistry. And, geez, the next 5 to 10 years, it's probably going to be a whole different ballgame, which is pretty exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
You look at ADSO and Dykema. I mean, a lot of it was around same store growth, but a lot of it was around culture. You still see a lot of dental practices, probably someone like yours, Mark, where if you have a great culture, they don't really have a staffing issue. When they don't have a great culture, it really came to light. Kind of like Sarah's talking about personal branding. if he doesn't have that before, it comes to light now when you get in these type of situations. Um,
I'll tell you, such a we're blessed. We were blessed in my businesses, my practices, truly. And I feel for the people who had all the struggles and had in all my friends and just gosh, yes, a nightmare, a nightmare. You don't
mhm.
wish it upon anyone. But that's again reality. It's a reality check for all of us.
Yep.
Speaking of reality checks, how about Microsoft going down and all these other systems going down today? Flights canceled.
Light cancels everywhere.
In this show, we haven't discussed this, but are we talking about politics and religious views and conspiracy theories? Because this might be a conspiracy theory with Microsoft coming down. I don't know. Is that the truth, or is someone hacked into us, another country? We just don't know.
It's a crazy time. I
It
mean,
is a crazy
you
time.
listen to Gary at Blacktown, and he scares the hell out of you. When you think about what I need to do, and
Yes,
when
yes,
you were
they
talking
scare
last
you
night,
into
talking
purchasing.
about they're getting into no click, it's like, okay, well then that all the training's out the window now. If they have no click ways to hack into your system, it's like, wow, okay, that's interesting.
And let's just take note here. Steve is so well educated, so well versed in all. I mean, you know things that you shouldn't be knowing. In fact, so I saw you at Becker's, right, Steve?
Correct, yeah,
And
brother.
I was part of a little panel there on
Little panel, you did incredible.
yeah, and so thank you. But you know what? Once again, what impressed me so much was that first off, you were in the audience there listening to us, and then you said you went because you wanted to get better educated. But that is what it's all about. It's about how well we are educated in the dental space, how much we know, and people are willing to pay for that. They
Yeah,
want that, and we all need it. And certainly, most of us, especially me, I am no genius, but we try to educate ourselves as best we can and absorb all that and act as a sponge and release that where we can to help others and to make this beneficial for the business.
absolutely. I think that's what a lot of it's about. I mean, you're trying to help customers and just help the dental industry. It may not be about anything you sell your products, but if you can help a problem they're coming across or connect them with the right person, and it's like I tell my kids all the time, you want to have fun at a party, go hang out with the 4-year-olds because they don't know any better and they're going to tell you the truth. And then go find the 84-year-old because they're on the back nine and they're probably approaching the 18th green and they'll tell you anything you want to know. And they'll tell you the mistakes they made and the regrets and all that. So that's where you have the best time at parties talking to those individuals.
Yeah. And so again, it looks like you've mastered this, no doubt, Steve. It's all about friendships, correct? From a vendor's perspective. And I feel like the sales that just comes in time, but you really want to establish those friendships, and you make great friendships. I have great friendships with some of the reps from the sales company that I work with on a business level. And it's so much easier when you get to know these people and you build those friendships because you want to support them, you
Mhm.
want to help them, you want to see those vendors be successful. So yeah, all good. Those friendships, you really have to start with that, I feel.
Yeah, it's like I said. I mean, there's enough pie out there for everybody. We can all be successful. Competition is good. It keeps you humble and it keeps you trying to drive ahead. And you should be ahead of the competition, not trying to chase them. And you should just be real and genuine about what you do, and things are going to turn out great. Whether it's whether you're working for a dental manufacturer, whether you're actually a dentist trying to build a DSO, whether you don't like DSOs and you're building the best office you can build and you want a lifestyle practice. Like I said, there's a dental home for everybody. And, the more you can learn from other people, I can't tell how many people have told me, like, I don't like DSOs. I'm like, really? There's nothing you could learn from Rick Workman after putting up 2,000 offices? There's nothing you could learn from him? Pretty sure whether you like him or you don't, yeah, I'm sure you can learn a lot from him. The guy's a genius. So, I would take what you do and then do it in the own style you want to do it in. That's really what it's all about. It's trying to not create the wheel, but really just how do I take what I have and make it better? And kind of like what you were talking about, Sarah. I mean, so many dentists. You got to get your one office efficient and really systematically running. Then open a second. You got to do the same, but everyone wants to buy as fast as they can and put these groups together. It's about
Yeah.
finding sustainable groups. Yeah.
I love what
Words
you
of
just said.
wisdom, Steve Craig. Words of wisdom. Cheers, Steve Craig. Words of wisdom.
Cheers.
Listen up, everyone. Listen up. Our first guest, Boston and Bubbles, not so serious dental podcast, but at some moments we have to be serious, right, Bubbles?
Absolutely.
Every once in a while. But I will also say I love what you just said, Steve, because you're right. You don't. My father said this to me when I started my business. He said, "You don't have to reinvent the wheel, Sarah. You just have to polish someone else's." And
Yeah.
that always really stood out to me. And you're 100% right. Like, I feel like most of our industry does have an abundance mindset, but I will say for me, and I won't name any names, but we have a social media business, and to me, I will, if somebody is considered a competitor of mine, I want to support them. I want to comment on their stuff on LinkedIn, like, hey, that's really great, or that's really exciting. And there have
Maybe
been
she
a
took
couple
off
of
for the
people I've
concert.
worked.
Yeah, maybe she took off early. She blew us.
Did I freeze? I'm back. Am I back?
You
You did a
glitched.
little bit.
Yeah, you glitched, but know what?
We
That's
we thought you took off for the concert and just kept
No.
going.
This maybe this is my stand-in. Maybe it's really not me.
Oh,
it's not you.
back to the conspiracy theory. I see.
A pod person? Maybe I'm a pod person.
Let's see. Answer this question: yes or no? Do you love unicorns?
Yes.
Okay, we have the true
Actually,
Bubbles.
if you can see this, I have a couple little teeny unicorns that were given to me at Dykeman. I was supposed to throw to you on, and when I saw you, but I just never saw you enough times to throw it at you. I think you know who gave me
Mark.
those.
Mark, you will not. Zach? What? Zach Anderson. Isn't that his last name?
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah,
he
good
gave me
guy.
a couple unicorns to throw at you. I'm like, I'm not going to throw them at her. I do want to watch Mark
He
tackle Sarah, but I'm not going to throw them at her.
I'm still
he
getting ready
comes
for
up
that. Getting ready.
he come oh my gosh. Zach comes up to me and he's like, Sarah, there's something, this isn't the one, but he's like, there's something in your ear. And he started pulling out unicorns. Mark, I brought home probably 25 of those little tiny unicorns that he just, anytime he saw me, he would give me a unicorn. It was hilarious. And now the fact
And
that
so,
Steve has
what do
one,
you do with them?
it's funny.
Yeah,
What do you
no, I
do
have
with
a couple.
unicorns?
Yeah,
I don't
What
know.
do you
I
do
had
with
to
them?
mail, I haven't decided. I actually, so many people gave me things. I had to ship stuff home. And I just got the box today. So all my unicorns have come home today. I don't know what I'm going to do with
Wow,
them.
you're living a
Taking
tough life.
suggestions. I know.
New kids on
Just
the
give me
block,
stuff.
getting gifts. So many
yeah.
gifts that you have to ship them home. You can't take them with you on a plane. What are
You
we
have
doing wrong,
a
Steve?
you have a boyfriend or a butler that brings you champagne while you're on podcasts. Mark and I don't have that.
No, no, we're begging for it
Oh,
though.
wow. So I call him, he has a beard. I call him my bearded barista because he makes me coffee every morning. But also now he's my bubbly butler. And now he brings me champagne. That's funny.
Well, we'll tell him he's got to put unicorns in your champagne since it sounds like you got a lot laying around.
I know. I do. It's a lot. But yes, what I was saying earlier was I think it's interesting when people will tell me, "Oh, you can comment as me on people's content, but don't comment on this person because they're our competitor." And it makes me kind of sad. I'm like,
Yeah, it is.
but it's nice to support other people. It says a lot about you. So that makes me kind of sad when people say that.
So, Steve, let's take a little deeper dive here. What state are you in?
I'm based in the suburbs of Chicago. Grew up in central
That's right.
Illinois, and
Yep.
now I'm in the suburbs of Chicago.
Okay. And what does Steve do for fun, hobbies, interests? What do you do outside of the dental world?
Sure. Well, like I said, I definitely am a podcast YouTube junkie. So do listen to a lot of dental, but also listen to a lot of leadership. Just help. I mean, for me, a lot of times spending time with family. I mean, like I said, I'm getting to that point where I'm on the back nine now. So I have a daughter that's going to be a junior in high school and a son that's going to be a senior in college. And, we've had a great summer just spending time with them. They're both at that age now where they've come back to the parents and want to hang around us and talk to us. So that's
Cool.
always a nice thing. So a
Yep.
lot of time just trying to spend that time with them before I guess we're empty nesters when we ride off in the sunset, my wife and I.
Cool. Cool. Um,
I have a question. I have a Chicago
Sure.
related question.
Sure.
What's our preference? And I'm pretty sure I've asked you this before, but I'm going to ask again. Is it Lou Malnati's? Is it Gino's East? Is it Giordano's? Like, what pizza do you like, Steve?
My family is probably Lou Malnati's, but definitely we do cater a lot more to the thin pizza, kind of more the New York style. So, but there's a lot of great thin pizza in Chicago, which a lot of people don't realize. All they think about is deep dish. We do partake in that, but we do a little bit of both.
looks like we have another glitch here with Sarah.
I'm
That's
back.
okay.
Sorry.
Concert, I think.
Did you say thin crust pizza in Chicago? Who the hell eats
There's a
that?
lot. People don't realize there's a lot of thin pizza eaten in Chicago. Everyone always assumes everybody's deep dish. We do, like I said, we do partake a lot in that, but we also partake a lot in thin pizza, almost like pizza on a cracker.
That's a good way to say it.
Um, I would like to bring up a topic here. I would like to bring up the topic of the number of dental conferences in a year and proposing that the leaders of these different dental conferences coordinate with one another to make it easier for the attendees and the vendors to attend these conferences. Because, geez, I feel like there's a conference like maybe every other week or every other few weeks. And sometimes it's hard to, determine which one you want to go to because they're probably both great. Um, and I hear this from people all the time, and it's tough. It's tough. It's an investment of time and it's an investment of money. So what are your thoughts, Bubbles and Steve, about proposing? I don't know to who. Maybe Sarah, you would know better, or Steve. But how can we get people on the same page of coordinating better these conferences so that we can maximize our time, maximize their time? Um, Thoughts on that?
I
You want to
don't
go
know
first,
how we
Sarah?
would. Well, sure. I don't know, Mark. That's a really good question because it's like every day there's a new conference popping up, it seems
Hmm.
like.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of people will ask me because I have a list of events that I like to attend that are predominantly DSO focused, and people will ask me for that list, and it's just getting longer and longer. And I don't know who you would coordinate with because I can't imagine if
Hmm.
you would say to ADSO, DEO, and or DICOMA, like, hey, maybe you guys should all kind of coordinate together. I'm pretty sure the answer would be no. And I love all three organizations, but so I
Yep.
don't know how to, or maybe make it, actually, here's my recommendation: make it less money to attend.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
definitely think less money to attend would definitely help things. The fees are definitely, especially sponsorship fees, have been on the rise as of late. But the other thing, also, I think a lot of times they're heavily weighted in the front half of the year and not so heavily weighted in the back half of the year, which puts a lot of stress on people that want to attend these meetings in the front half of the year because they go boom, boom, boom pretty
Mm,
fast, and then it dies out in the summer and definitely dies out in the winter. But I'm not opposed to some of the newer events. I mean, like you go to something like Becker's, like Mark talked about, and Mark was up on stage. You get to hear from a lot of people you normally don't hear from, which is good. I think a lot of the events we go to, it's a lot of the same speakers having the exact same topics. Dykema was great this year when Brian did, the 3 hours of content where it was boom, boom, boom. That was good. And there was a lot of people that some were norms. But then, Sarah, you and I were both at, Heidi Arndt's Evolving Group Dentistry. I mean, there was a lot of people on stage there, like Jimmy from Smiling River Dentistry, I'd never heard before, didn't know. Knew of Dave, got to know Dave better. But, you hear from a lot of people you normally don't hear from. So some of those newer events are great to attend as well, just to hear different perspectives and from different people on a little different topic.
Steve, how often are you traveling? Are you on the road?
I've probably been to, 12, 15 events so far this year. But I
Wow.
think a lot of that's just, like I said, I love the education portion. A lot of it, they may not be our customers now or not customers on the full portfolio, but they will be eventually. So a lot of it's just getting out there, meeting the other vendors, meeting the groups, and just like new events showing up all the time. There's new DSOs opening up all the time.
Mm,
So a lot of it's just getting out there and interacting with people. I enjoy it. It's a lot of
cool.
stress, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. And so, how often will it be that you are traveling to one of your clients' locations? Like, say, in a month?
Well, I'm on the road a lot, but I think one of the good things that probably came out of COVID, was people realizing that you probably don't have to be in an office. You can conduct business virtually, kind of like we are right now today. I think that has helped relieve a lot of that, and I think people have realized that a lot of people didn't take into account, like if you have employees and, they're driving to work and from work, and depending if you live in a large city like most of us do, there's a lot of traffic, which people don't factor that in. That's part of your life. And when you factor that in the hourly rate, the pay may not be that great. So I think a lot of people have realized that, people want to do a lot more virtually and spend more time with family and all that. So it's probably one good thing that came out of COVID. So, you can meet with a lot of customers and get a lot of meetings in throughout the day virtually. You still need that face to face, and you still want to, shake
Mm,
hands and talk to people, or run into Mark and he's going to hug you and probably break a rib. But that's okay. Sometimes that happens, but that's good as well. But I think it's kind of really helped relieve a lot of the travel strains on a lot of people. I think a lot of people I know that traveled a lot have taken a little bit off the plate due to virtual.
yep. Great points.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark? When's the next event you're going to go to?
Um, Geez, I'm actually next week. I'm going to. I have the pleasure of speaking with an AI company on digital radiography,
Awesome.
and this is for GPS DSO.
Yeah.
So that's next weekend. I'll be at that. Looking forward to that. And then after that, I will be attending the DSO Tech Summit in Nashville. That's early September. And then later September, the Leadership Summit.
Good. I'll see you. I'll see
Solid.
you at the leadership summit.
Cool.
Surprisingly, I have right now, as far as like conventions and stuff like that, I have nothing in August because there really isn't anything. There's not a
Yeah.
lot in August, and like you talked about GPS, that's the other thing that's really picked up. Almost every DSO has their own national meeting, and that's
Yeah.
probably hurt a lot of the conventions because it's a great time to
It is
meet a
so
lot of
cool
new
that they
staff and
do
all
that.
that. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
the
So
prices are
cool.
rising
Talk
on
about
those. I
building
saw things
culture.
for that.
Well, now Dykema is going to be in August next year.
I saw that.
Did you
Oh,
Yeah,
see that?
I did see that.
oh,
And
do you know the date of that
it is. And
It,
off the top of your head?
IntelliCon,
I want to say
um,
it's that first week of
it's
August.
early.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to
So,
be, oh my goodness, Dykema 2025. And Dental Intel has their, oh, it's, uh,
August 6th to
uh,
8th.
yes.
okay.
And IntelliCon is in August. I'm actually speaking at IntelliCon next month
Oh,
in
nice.
Utah.
Actually, I
I'm
thought I saw a post about that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm
She's been
excited to
doing the
go
right
to.
stuff up on stage.
I wonder if in all my presentations and every slide I should make a New Kids on the Block reference.
I,
I can assist with that.
yep. Yeah,
So,
I'm still
I
waiting for the episode where Mark's going to talk about his breakdancing experience. So I'm waiting.
yeah, that's going to be on a future episode. In fact, we've already kind
Yes.
of discussed that a little bit, right, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I need to hear. I had total FOMO. I couldn't make Dykema this year, and I didn't even want to look at the posts on LinkedIn. People were texting me. I didn't even want to respond. But let's hear it. Let's hear how it was for you guys. Was it everything you'd hope it would be? What do you think?
It probably has turned into kind of the Super Bowl of the DSO events.
Okay.
A lot of people there. Content's incredible. Brian's switching up a little bit this year with that 3 hours of content, little 15-minute, talks. And then Steve Bill came out and gave a powerful presentation maybe 40 minutes, and then they interviewed Stan Bergman. So, added a little twist to that. But just the content's incredible there. The people there, and like you said before, it's the right people. It's the people that live under abundance and want to talk and share, and you can walk up and talk to anybody. So it's a great event. I was looking for you and I didn't see it, but it was a good event.
That's great. And who was the keynote? Was it Coach K?
Coach K, and then Allie Reisman, also the Olympic gold medalist from the gymnastics team. She kind of
Oh,
closed down the first
wow.
day. Coach K closed down the second day, which is phenomenal to hear him
Did
talk. It's about the third or fourth time I've heard him speak.
Oh,
He's
wow.
great.
That's cool.
did you speaking
And
of
did they
Allie
have the
Raisman?
spasmatics?
Yep.
Spasmatics?
Yes.
What'd you say?
Oh, they did have the spasmatics, but I was going to say, Allie Raisman, did you see Jay from Sunbit, his post that he made about how he showed her a video of his dismount and how
Yep.
awful it was? That was so funny. Jay
She
cracks
told
me
him he
up. He's
stuck it
funny.
though.
He did. She did.
Yeah, the two videos
That
Jay had,
was,
I said, Jay, I think you're trying to get into Paris to get in the Olympics. And he said he's a deep, deep alternate.
yes, deep, deep, deep.
Well, it looks like we didn't have anyone call in, which is a little bit disappointing. I thought maybe we'd get Amy Vale to call in, but she didn't. So I'll have to have a talk with her how disappointed I am.
Yes. Sarah's Butler
I
can't call
mean,
in.
You
no,
should have
I think
planted a
that's why
call. Damn it. Next time we're
I,
going to plant a call.
hey, at least we're live. People can see this live. It's entertaining. I think
Absolutely.
that this is great. And Mark, I will mirror everything that Steve said about Dykema. It was probably the best one that they had yet. And it was just teeming with, I don't know, everybody just seemed so busy and the content was great. Brian's the most powerful 3 hours in the history of the DSO industry. That is what he referred to it as. And he
Yep.
was really adamant about making sure that the content was great. And
And it was.
yeah,
Wow.
hmm you were
I heard that
missed.
maybe there were some fireworks. Was there a drone show as well?
Drone show.
There
Yep.
was,
Wow.
They ran
yes.
into a firework issue a couple years back, so drone show.
Okay. So last year I was very much looking forward to the drone show, but because of the weather, they had to cancel it. So maybe next year I'll be able to see that.
They did have a fire display on stage. So I did hear that maybe the fire marshal was like a little worried about it. So maybe we didn't tell the truth as to what. Did I glitch again? Sorry.
You did a little bit.
Okay.
It's okay.
They had like his
It's a
entrance. He
Microsoft thing.
had these
It's got to be. They're
probably
hacking in. They're hacking into you,
probably.
Bubbles.
Why wouldn't they? I'm a very interesting person. So not that interesting,
So
but yes, there was fire on stage.
There was a lot of fire on stage. I think Coach K was a little scared when he came out to walk through the fire. But then I guess he's okay because he said he has two artificial hips, two artificial knees, and one artificial ankle. So I
oh my
guess he was
God.
safe to
Oh my
walk through the
god.
fire.
Wow.
Wow.
Bionic man.
He looked great for 77, though. I'll give him that.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So cool.
What was the part
Um
that you missed the most, Mark, do you think?
Probably dancing to the spasmatics.
It was fun. I actually, somebody got an action shot of me. I don't know how much I love the picture itself, but it does show like how exciting. I was clearly really into it.
What's the floor
Oh,
there?
It was a light up floor. It was awesome.
Oh
it's like a
man, a light up floor?
They had a great
wait.
stage. They had a great setup.
Damn it.
It was
You're
amazing.
not
But
supposed
wait
to
a
show me
minute.
this stuff. Don't show me
I
that
have
stuff. I'm
I
so
have two
jealous.
questions. First of all, who is this? Do we know? His name is Lincoln, but I don't know who he is.
I don't know him
Do you
either.
guys?
No, I can't really see it well.
Yeah,
No,
it's kind
He
of
blurry.
he was an amazing dancer, but Kevin Cumbus took the cake. Like, did you see him dancing, Steve? I had no
Yeah.
idea. His hair was like going he was having a blast. It was fun.
Well, Mark could have taken him on, and
I got to challenge him. Oh boy.
I was actually thinking of you this morning, Mark, because I was watching a podcast, and it was Steve Jensen from Growth in Dentistry from Dental and Tel, and he was talking. You probably know him, Steve. I think Markowitz. I think his name is a dentist out of Boston, and he claimed
Yeah.
he was the best looking dentist in Boston. I said, I think I may
Oh,
be talking to a guy.
whoa.
I
We're
argue
going
with
to have to take our shirts off for that piece, too.
Who
Have to
said
compare
that?
bodies, physiques.
that. So you might have to go take this guy on.
Set it up, Steve. Set it up.
Maybe that would be that'll be the event next year at Dykema.
Yeah. I'm going to go off carbs for 1 month.
Yeah.
Is that what
Thought
what
you'd enjoy that one this morning.
How funny.
Too funny.
We have a call in. Oh my goodness. Amy Vale is calling in with the following
Amy
question.
Vale.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna
Amy Vale.
You
here
asked
she
and
is.
she answered.
Hi,
Amy Vale.
Hey, Amy.
Hi, I'll try not to take over. Hi, Steve. It's so good to
How are
see
you?
you. You know
Great to
what?
see
I
you.
have to say the sentiment too that you always comment on my posts. I appreciate that. I did see you at Dykema coming, I think, going this way, and I was going this way, and I didn't get a
Absolutely.
chance to see you. So, hi.
Hello.
The ultimate hype man, isn't he, Amy?
Yes, indeed.
Ultimate hype man, ultimate supporter.
Yes, and we all missed you in Dykema, Mark. I was very
Thanks, Amy. I missed you guys too. Trust me.
I only had to dance with Santosh.
He's quite the dancer. He's my
quite
man.
the dancer though too.
He is my man. I call him Happy Feet. He's like Happy Feet out there.
He is.
Oh, he was like spinning me around and everything.
He can dance and make walk.
Yeah. So, Amy, thank you so much for calling in.
Yes, I put it on my calendar.
We have a question for our guest, our first guest on the Boston and Bubbles Not So Serious Dental Podcast. You have kind of a serious question for him.
Do I have kind of a serious question? Not really. I don't really. I mean, it's 2:45 on a Friday afternoon, and we're doing podcasts with Boston and Bubbles, so I don't really think I have a serious question. I do want to know from you, Steve. How did you the conference? The Dykema conference was a flurry, right? How did you come home? How do you decompress from these things?
That's a good question.
Well, I took a lot of notes sitting in the main room in some of the breakouts. I think a lot of it was just trying to find, one or two things that I could share with customers, or one or two things I could do better from what I heard. Because a lot of it's just not, what happens in a dental practice or a DSO. It's also, how can you incorporate that into your business? Because we're all running a business at the same time. And I think a lot of it's trying to realize that, it's a lot easier to sign the back of a check than the front of a check. So you want to get the value out of those meetings that you go to, and try to see, how you can incorporate things or share content with people. So spent a lot of time on the plane looking at that, and then just reaching out to people that I met with and thanking them for the conversation, what we talked about.
That's great. That's great. How about that Sunday besides working? Did you do that? Because I did that Sunday. I said I was going to just be in bed most of the day, and that's kind of where I was.
Well, I've been on the road a lot, so I came back to almost a forest as a yard. So I did some yard work pretty most of Sunday. So.
Oh, okay. So I have a plan for that. So I have a friend who sometimes mows my lawn. Like I'll jump on the ride-on and do it, but and I'm supposed to go out with him and his mom tonight. So I'm hoping he comes and looks at the lawn, and he'll just feel sorry for me tomorrow and do it.
There you go. At first, I thought you were going to say you bought a goat.
That's next.
Well, maybe Sarah can drop off a unicorn at your house, and that unicorn can eat the grass.
Here you go. Maybe just water it and it'll grow into a lawn-eating unicorn. That should be my second business,
Say about
Steve.
my kids.
Yeah, the one that Zach gave me, I don't think is going to eat much grass. It's a little small guy.
That's nice. Well,
Zach, you're going to have to give me a unicorn at the next conference I see you at. Please do not leave me out.
Actually,
I
Mark, he gave me two, so I got one for you.
Oh, thank
You,
you.
you. you can pick purple or pink.
I'll take the purple one,
There you
please.
go.
Thank you.
well, I just wanted to pop on very quickly. Sarah, I hope you have a wonderful concert. I love that your boyfriend is your butler too. I try to make mine that too. So just so you know, it's good, right? Mark, great to see you. Steve, thanks for good. Thank you for being in this industry. You are a great player in this industry. So I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna listen to y'all a little bit more, and have a great weekend.
Thank you for your
Thanks,
support, Amy
Amy.
Vale.
Oh,
Right back at you, Amy.
Bye.
Great to see you.
my favorites. All right, bye guys.
See you
Take
soon.
care.
Bye.
How about that?
That's great. So we had our
First
first
live,
guest.
first call in.
We had our first person to call in. Two big firsts today. We have to write that down, put them in the archive, Sarah. Episode 2. I think for episode 1, you know what? I actually looked today so I could reference it. On YouTube, we had 75 views for our first
Awesome.
episode. So
That's pretty
maybe,
awesome.
maybe we can double that from number 2. Maybe we can get around 150. I don't know how many on Spotify. I didn't look at that. But we got our goals, and Steve Craig is going to help us get there. That's for damn sure. But I think this has been a great podcast. I mean, Steve, you said you are a guru of podcasting. How do you think this podcast went? Think it went okay?
I think it went
Um,
awesome. Yeah,
critique.
it's a
Let's
little
critique
different
us now.
twist.
Critique us. Critique us.
It's a
What can
little
we do
different twist.
different?
I like it. It's not the normal podcast, but you get to know people from the industry and what they're all about and what makes them tick. We got to learn about a lot about you guys. Mark being a 6th generation dentist. I know, Sarah, you and I have talked about the Buddha before. So, you got to hear a little bit about that and some of your dad's favorite quotes. So that was good. And like I said, I'm still, like I told Mark at Becker's, I said, every DSO event, I have to get there early now because I'm just waiting for the time when Mark sees you and he's going to tackle you one time. So I'm just waiting for that.
So
And we
I
can
am
turn on
going to
cameras.
wait, Steve. I am going to wait for you. If I see Sarah, I'm going to avoid her. Make sure that she doesn't see me. I'm going to wait for you to be there, and then I'm going to tackle her.
And then as far
I
as views, I think if we can get the butler to film it, and if Sarah can storm the stage, and we can somehow add that to the end, we'll have 1,000,000 views.
There you go.
It's all up to you, Sarah. No pressure.
I'll arrange it. Make it happen.
So, good news, Sarah. We don't have to change anything with our podcast, according to Steve, and I'm going with that.
Oh, for sure. What Steve says goes. I agree.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I like
So
the
awesome.
and by I do just want to say from one fellow Taurus to another, Steve.
Yeah.
I appreciate that Taurus bull energy. Now I'll have to start sending you memes and being like, is this you? Do you do this? Like Greg Estemacher and I send each other stuff all the time. So I'll have to add you to my list of
Yep.
Tauruses now.
Not shocking the three of us are Tauruses. That's why we get along. That's what I told you earlier today.
True.
Well, thank you, Steve, so much for coming on our show and sharing your experiences and your wisdom. Again, so well respected in this field. Bubbles, I hope you have the best time ever at the New Kids on the Block show. Be safe. Have a great time.
Thank you.
And until our next podcast, we hope everyone stays well. And again, we'd love for people to if they have any recommendations on who they'd like to see on the show, please put it out there. Please participate. This is for you guys, but we need a little bit of your help. So help us out. But I hope everyone has a great weekend, and cheers.
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 Thanks, Steve.
I appreciate you
Thank
guys,
you.
and if anyone has